Hello, everyone.
Hi. Welcome back.
Yes, Easter is approaching. I'm actually really excited about Easter.
Yeah, I guess by the time they hear this, Easter will probably be done, but
That is very true.
yeah.
Well, fine. Scratch what I had to say then.
You can still tell them about Easter.
Okay,
how
great.
excited
So
you are.
this is the first time I'm doing an Easter egg hunt for the kids because they're little. So now they're able to walk and find things, and I can hide, and it'll be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
I remember those days. Just remember, if you put eggs outside and you put candy inside of them, the squirrels like to eat them. So just don't put it
I'm
out too
actually
early.
not going to do candy inside. I'm going to do like nail polish and stickers and lip gloss and things like that. Because I was like, how much candy are they going to eat? And I don't want them eating all that candy anyway. So maybe like a few eggs here and there with candy. But other than that, no. They can, I mean, you know what? And then I was thinking about how I'm going to put nail polish and lip gloss. And I'm like, what does my baby boy get? You know, it's all girly stuff. So I don't know what's going to fit in an egg. Maybe a car?
Yeah. Some little
cars?
Yeah.
Maybe I can dig out the cars that he already has, the small ones.
And then no idea.
Yeah, he doesn't know. Why am I going to buy him more cars?
Unless if you go to Ralph's, they have like the dollar bucket of cars.
I know. Okay, we'll figure it out. Tell me about your trip. So you went to New York and then you're going to Tampa.
Yeah. So
Okay,
New York I thought it was, so initially when Jasmine, my publicist, reached out and said, do you want to do this thing in New York and everything? And I was like, this is great and whatever. And then I started asking about like what stations it going to be on. And I started looking and I was realizing it was like a streaming platform. And I was like, oh, I guess it's not like that big of a deal, right? Because my mom was like, what channel is it going to be on? When are we going to see it? And all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know. I don't even know any of the specifics. And so then I was feeling a little bummed. But I was like, okay, we'll figure this out. So I had to make all the food to bring with me. So it was basically to promote the cookbook. So they picked 3 recipes. And so I needed to take the food with me. But based on the fact that my husband is doing...
On the airplane?
Yes.
Did you have a hard time flying with food?
I packed a checked bag.
Okay.
So I took a checked bag, but then I also had food. So the 3 things they wanted was our vegan queso dip. So it's like a white bean dip. And then they wanted our lettuce wraps, chicken lettuce wraps. And then the number 1 recipe that's downloaded on our website is our almond chocolate chip cookies. Because I'm a huge believer that, just because you're dieting or whatever, you should still be able to have desserts. So anyways, they picked these out ahead of time. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make the cookies. I'll freeze the cookies. So I packed them with like parchment paper and packed them. And then I was really worried about the lettuce wraps because I'm like, I don't know exactly how to do that. And so somebody was like, well, just serve them cold. People normally have lettuce wraps cold, so you can do lettuce wraps cold. And I was like, okay. So I made all the chicken stuff that goes in it, and I put that in the freezer because I figured that it would be frozen on the plane, and then I could defrost it overnight. And then I just decided for the white bean queso dip, it's beans and olive oil and spices and lemon. So I was like, okay, I'll just bring all the ingredients and I'll assemble it.
Make it fresh.
And I packed a blender. So we stayed at a residence inn that has a kitchen, so I packed it all with me. And I had to leave, I got up at 2:50 in the morning because my flight was the 5:30 in the morning flight, so I could get there early enough Monday so I could be repped Tuesday. Uber comes, gets me at 3:15. We're driving down. I literally get 10, 15 minutes from my house, and I was like, oh, fuck. And I looked at the Uber driver, like, you have to turn around.
What happened?
I was like, you have to go back. And he looked at me, he's like, back to your... I was like, yes, you have to go back to my house. I forgot the food. It was in the freezer.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I cannot go there without the food. And so we had to turn back around. And I was like, why don't you just do a U-turn? Because we live kind of on a hill. And so I said, you do a U-turn, I'll run in and get it. So I ran in and it was ready to go. It just had to pull out. And I didn't even think anything of it when I was packing my carry-on. There was this
everything
perfect
else
spot.
but that, the most important part.
Funny. I told so many people this. They're like, why didn't you have a Post-it? I was like, I had Post-its. But it was also 3 a.m, so I wasn't clearly. And so we got it, and I got to the airport, and everything was fine. But I was just like, I cannot believe. And I was so making sure that I tipped the Uber because I felt bad because I didn't turn around. I accidentally ended up double tipping him.
Oh.
And I had already decided I was going to tip him
on top of
like 25% because he had done that. And so he got a 25% tip times 2. So I was like, well, he better give me a nice review. But so we got there, found, and then, we were leaving for JFK, and I had initially looked, but this was before gas prices got all high and whatever. And I was like, okay, an Uber out to Long Island, it's going to be about $50. Okay. So I put it in the directions and where we need to go from Uber, and it's $178.
Holy crap.
And
oh boy.
So my best friend that lives in DC, I said, we can't do this. We got to go rent a car. Because I could rent a car for $55 for 24 hours. And I was like, we're going to go rent a car. I was like, holy crap.
That's smart thinking. I would have just probably done the Uber.
But I was thinking, I'm like, okay, it's $180 out there and it's probably gonna be $180 back.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, we're not doing this. But she's like, it's a good thing you drive in LA. I'm like, but I don't drive in like LA proper on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But so anyways, we got there. And then the next day I had everything and we get ready and I got up in the morning and I pull out the iron because I need to iron my shirt. It's like scalding hot iron and I put it on the shirt, right? So it literally burns a hole in the frickin' shirt. I'm like, okay.
Stop.
I'm like, God, please, I can't handle it.
Tell me you have backup.
I brought another shirt with me, but
Thank
luckily
God.
the shirt was able
To tuck
I
in?
needed to tuck in. And so the part that tucked in, so, you know, I kind of tucked it in, but kind of pulled it out a little bit. So that part was right like where the belt was. So nobody saw it. But I had my mindset, I was like, okay, I'd put this thing on social media. Which one should I wear? And I was set, I'm gonna wear green. And then I was like, I guess I'm not gonna wear green. I might have to wear the pink. And
I wish you had recorded your whole thing of what was happening. Like me trying to get ready for New York and this.
I know.
Literally imagine everyone be like, what the hell is happening?
Here it is. It's on the podcast. I'll get people. I'm like, you can listen to the podcast and hear the whole episode.
So hotel irons suck.
Yeah,
They need to do. They have like it's like the little mini ones, and then before I even put the iron onto the clothing, I'll do like a what's that button that you push where it steams out to get all that gunk out because. I swear, every time you do that, it like this black stuff spurts out. So
yeah, and you know, and normally I would do it on the edge. I don't know why I thought, and it was so funny because then when I finally, I cleaned off the iron and everything, and then I went back and I started low to come up because it still needed to be ironed. Now I realize why it was on the scalding hot setting because every setting before was not warm enough. But I got it to finally a temperature where I was like, okay, got enough stuff off because I had steamed it really nice before I took it. So we go. And I'll have to show you guys this picture, but we drive up to the studio and I'm like, it was gigantic. It was huge. So News Channel 12 is this huge station in Long Island. And so we walk in and we have to go through security and we'll see if Francine ever listens to this. She was the front and she met Station. She was just the sweetest lady with her Long Island accent. And she looks at the cookbook. She goes, oh, honey, you're talking about hormones. And it was just so we had this great conversation.
Yeah.
And then they come down and get us and they bring us up. And I'm like, as I'm walking through the station, I'm like, this is like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And I saw on the wall like where it's at. And I'm like, okay, it's a streaming platform. And then I realized it's streamed across Roku, Amazon, like all these major.
Oh, that's so
I'm like,
good.
it's not on ABC, but it's on all these other major news things. And so they kind of took us in the green room and the recording room. And there was a table with a green tablecloth. And they're like, there you go. And so, you know, I was able to make it all look good. And then right before the segment, they put this beautiful kitchen like up on the screen behind us. And I started with, let's try the dip and let's try the cookies. And then we ran out of time. I was nervous, but the really cool things is Christy and Norman, who were the two people that were doing the whole segment with me, they came in and they started talking to me and they were really energetic and they were asking questions.
Yeah.
So by the time we then, okay, let's roll, except for the fact that they said today we're going to be meeting with Corry Matthews and she's a nutritionist. It was like, it was nothing else. And it was short, like it's a 4-minute segment. So it's fast and short. But it was really cool. So they tried the dip on screen and they tried the cookies and then they left. They're like, and they asked me, they're like, which one should we try first? And I was like, well, let's do these. These are absolutely the best.
Were they good though? Like even though, because it's always different when you cook it in your in an environment where you're really comfortable in versus in a hotel or like you pre-make it or whatever.
Right.
Did it
no,
still
they were
come?
really
Yeah,
good.
okay,
And you could smell, like, when you walked into the whole room, because of the dip, because of the garlic in the dip, like, the whole room just smelled so good because you could just smell the garlic.
Aroma.
So it was really fun. And so they were just amazing and fun, and they're
I'm
promoting
so proud
the
of you.
cookbook.
That's so good. Why do we always downplay things that we have to do? Like we always think like, oh, it's nothing big. And then you get there, you're like, oh crap, this is big. This is good stuff.
Yeah, it was really, really
nice
exciting.
things. Corry, that's really good. So what's going on in Tampa?
That is just spring break. So we're taking the kids there.
That's good. Okay.
So hubby is down there. My husband is still in the Marine Reserves, so he had to go down there for all of his reserve stuff. But the really cool thing is, so I'm just putting this out, so hopefully we can do an update later. But my daughter's number one choice is the University of Tampa, and she really wants to play soccer there.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
And we got the email that they invited her to come to one of the college soccer practices while we're out there.
Fantastic.
So yeah, so we're really, I mean, she's got 2 other California schools that have said they want her to come out and they want to talk to her. And I said, well, I'm really glad the other 2 are California, but I'm like, if you get your first choice, then I'll just deal with the fact that you're going to be on the other side of the country when you go to college. But
okay.
So that's what it is.
Crossing fingers.
Yeah, I mean, it would just, I mean, if they said, let's pursue this and we want you, I mean, it would be a dream come true for her and for us.
But you wouldn't move there. No, you would just have her go.
She would go. And,
yeah.
But I'm telling you, if her sister follows in the footsteps, because her sister kind of loves it, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in 4 years from now if we didn't decide to move down there.
Really?
I mean, I kind of feel like with your kids, I don't know. I mean, I met my husband in college. And I know a lot of people that meet their spouses in college. I mean, that doesn't mean that, she's going to go down there and meet somebody and, he's going to live in Florida, right? But a lot of times it's like you go places for college and you want to stay. But I think we would probably, because my husband's also in real estate, would probably buy a property down there so that she could move into it. But
there you go.
It's the very first school she ever toured was the University of Tampa and just immediately fell in love with it. So
I hope she gets in.
Me too.
That'll be awesome.
It would mean so much. So many.
Good for you. I can't believe how different we are in the phases of life of children. Here I am talking about an Easter egg hunt and what I want to do with the eggs, and you're talking about college.
I know.
And we're pretty much the same age.
I know.
I'm so late in the game, you guys. I don't even know. Okay, so listen. So I decided to come today without any makeup on. And I actually asked my husband, I'm like, should I put on makeup? And he's like, well, you could do a little. And I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm not going to do anything. It's like, because this is what I usually look like. I don't, unless I'm glamming out, you guys already know I love a good glam out session. But I decided to come to this podcast today because I wanted everyone to see what my face looks like after a treatment. So I ended up doing Sculptra, which we're going to dive into a little bit. And I, at the luncheon that you had invited me to, I kind of introduced everyone to this biostimulator. It's called Sculptra. You may have heard of it or you may have not, and you'll learn a little about it. Just so it's a way to do things to your face naturally without having to have all the injectables, like the fillers in your face. So if you're more on the natural side of things, then you can do that. And the reason I did it is because after my weight loss, I started to feel very saggy and old and just like my face was melting off my face, right? So I did the Sculptra, and on top of that, I did the RF microneedling. And you can't really wear makeup after 24 hours of doing microneedling because you're essentially creating these puncture. It's like control injury, right? So I'm puncturing your skin with the needles. And you don't want any bacteria to travel into the pores. So here it is. If you could see on YouTube you could actually see the video. There's no downtime. You don't have to take off any time from work. You can still go about your business. You just don't wear any makeup. And I love it. I'm a little puffy and swollen. Like if I touch my face, it hurts. Like, you know how you sleep on your side and it just pushes it down? I'm a little swollen and puffy, or it's tender. Let's just say that it's tender. But once this subsides, then you're just back to normal. But other than that, there's no downtime to any of this. So
I think we should deviate. We've got Sculptra, like we were going to do it in the next episode.
Yeah,
I think
we can
let's just do
back.
it now.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Let's do it now.
Okay, let's do it now.
Let's deviate a little bit and let's change and put it in, because I think it makes sense to do it right now.
Okay.
Since we're kind of talking about it. So I would say let's go and deep dive into it so people understand what it is. Because I think, spending more time so that people really understand what it is that you did. And I mean, even for me, I know a little bit about it because I've looked at it, but even what the microneedling is, because I think people don't understand.
Yeah.
They just hear these words, they see stuff on social media, and so they're like.
So a lot of the before and afters that you see online, which is exactly what we talked about. So the things that we see online are especially social media, and how like our news somehow became social media news. Like it's just ridiculous. And then anyone can just put something out there and they're like, oh, is this how you actually look? And the stuff that you see online on, let's just say Instagram or TikTok or whatever, no one's really going to post something that, let's say you look very natural and then you get some injectable done and then you just look a little bit more well rested. It's a boring post. No one really cares to see that. Only those that are really in tune with it. But the other people who are really trying to dig for some juice, some gossip, like something, those are the horrific photos that you see of vascular occlusions or overly done puffy faces, like it's just the overly done is what people actually want to see. And then that's when the conversation actually starts. So don't believe everything that you see online. And I introduced Sculptra and to some that may not have known about it during the luncheon, and some they're very well versed in this field. But Sculptra is a biostimulator. So if, let's say, you're not one to get fillers done and you just want to naturally age and allow nature to do its thing on your face, you can do some Sculptra to help you slow down the aging process. So basically, it's this thing called PLLA. It's poly-L-lactic acid. So we inject, it comes in a powdered vial, and we add some water to it to make it injectable, like an injectable product. When we inject that, it's literally water under the skin, right? So when we inject all of that, we are targeting areas that have lost volume and the skin laxity and that tightness, because we're losing volume and collagen and elastin as we get older, right? So if you've noticed some women with drastic weight loss or just with aging in general, they become very gaunt. And I recently heard this term that actually made perfect sense to me. If your head is starting to look like a peanut, literally like the shape of a peanut, where you're very gaunt in the cheeks or your temples, and then your head flares out like this, and then you have like an indentation, and then your cheek, like literally a peanut, then that's kind of it's a telltale sign that you're losing the volume, muscle, bone, ligaments, they're all shifting downward. So to do the Sculptra, you would probably do, they say the rule of thumb is 1 vial for every 10 or decade of life. So if, let's say, you're 40 years old, you'll probably need 4 vials of Sculptra, but not all at once. So it's kind of a good investment in the long run. It's a little bit pricey, I will say, but it's a great investment. So you would do, let's say, 1 and 1. So 1 on this side and then 1 on the left side of your face. And you do the Sculptra. It's literally, you're just pushing in the water, right? You're molding and mending your face the way you want it to. So you kind of like do this thing, and then afterwards you massage, and then you let it be. Then after that, you can do 6 to 8 weeks later, you do another session, and then for every year, let's say on your birthday, you do another round of Sculptra. Corry, it's fantastic. I love it. So I did that. And then I did RF microneedling, which is your radio frequency microneedling. Apparently, the heat from that RF microneedling will stimulate the collagen even more. So here I am, I'm microneedling my face, and it's not the easiest thing to do. When someone else is doing the treatment for you, it's much easier. But here I am, I'm in my suite, and I'm literally microneedling my face, and I'm like, fuck, this is not very comfortable. But I did it, I got it over with, but there's no downtime. I was, again, just a little tender and swollen from the RF, but I was back to normal. So I decided not to wear the makeup today because of that reason, because I wanted you guys to see how it actually looks.
So with the Sculptra, where would you say? Is it mainly where you're seeing it up in here?
Yep. It's basically you're starting from the back of your face, like along your hairline, not like hairline top by the forehead, but more so temples and on down. So like temples, cheekbones, jawline. You have this ligament that goes down your face this way, and that ligament creates that indentation of your skin. So it's like this thing. So it's like a Kate Moss kind of vibe. But in actuality, that ages someone, especially if you hit a certain point. Let's say if you're 55, 60 years old, and the skinnier you are, or the more, let's just say you haven't really taken care of your face or your skin all that much, that's a telltale sign that you're getting old, or even menopause will play a huge role in that. So to do that, it kind of like lifts you back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can tell that I'm a little
for the people that are always pulling back on their face.
So if they're doing this constantly, this action is what Sculptra will do for you. Like the pull back of your skin is what Sculptra does, but it does take time. So it's not like fillers where instantaneously you'll see the results. And I love fillers if it's conservatively done, well thought out. But the Sculptra, and you see it right away when you do the fillers. But when you're doing the Sculptra, it takes a good 3 months for you to see the difference. And I took videos and all, so I'm going to share it all over my social media.
So I would say it's more along the lines of almost like when people have like the PRP.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because that was, what did you call it? It made perfect sense. You were injuring yourself.
Your control injury.
Yeah, because that's exactly what PRP is. You get the injection into the spots, and so the whole point is to get your body to heal itself again.
Exactly. Because it's like saying you get a cut on your arm, right? So what happens when you get a cut or you get sutures? Your cells start to aggregate to that area to help promote healing. That's essentially what I'm doing to your skin with the RF microneedling, or even with the biostimulators such as Sculptra. You're trying to promote healing from within to be like, okay, guys, you need to wake up. Let's start to produce that collagen again.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So if somebody was looking for a more natural approach,
it's the way to go. If you could just maintain your, let's say, fine lines and wrinkles with toxin, whether it's Jeuveau, Botox, Dysport, whatever your choice is and whatever fits for your face. If you can maintain every 3 to 4 months with some neuromodulators like Botox, do your Sculptra yearly, and then you're just maintaining throughout the year with like good skincare, a hydrofacial, you're golden. You don't have to do all of it, but you can just do some of it, and it'll be great.
So explain to everybody listening, because they're going to want to know what a hydrofacial is.
It's the best facial you can get. So it's a machine. When you usually get a facial, you get a manual facial. So the esthetician's doing her thing with the cleanser and all the goodies that she puts on your skin. The hydrofacial, you're using a handheld device, and it has different tips on that handheld part of it, right? You slough off basically all the dead cells and the layers of your skin. Once that sloughs off, then you penetrate the serums, and it boosts. They're called boosters. It boosts your skin. So let's say if you've got melasma, pigmentation, we'll use a specific type of serum for that. If you've got fine lines and wrinkles, it's a different story. If you've got acneic skin, then they do all sorts of stuff. So it's a great way, because when you're doing the facial manually, there's only so much depth of that product you're going to go into. But when you're actually doing a facial with a hydrofacial, it's a different ball game. You're literally sloughing off the dead cells and the layers. And on top of it, if you get a dermaplane, which is, fuzzy, people have fuzzies. So it's a razor to your skin. It's a woman's way of shaving, basically. You're not only getting off the dead cells, but the vellus hair, like the little fuzzies. And then on top of that, do a hydrofacial, you're good to go. There's a lot. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot to say. So that's why we always advise that you go get a full consultation with someone to figure out, okay, what is my direction? Am I getting a facial? Am I getting just skincare? Am I doing your neuromodulators? What am I doing? And it's up to your provider to tell you what you should be doing and have a plan, versus just to sell something to you and then shove it down your throat. Like, this is how much it's going to cost and this is what you need to do. So when you come to see me, I will literally, since you're sitting in my chair, I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. And I will split your face into thirds, like the top, middle, and then bottom half of your face. And then I'll tell you, okay, this is what we're going to need for this. And then the middle part of your face I would recommend this. And then the bottom. And then I lay out the plan for you. And then with that, you choose based on budget. Okay, this is priority. That's what we'll do first. Yeah.
So then, okay, let's go down that road a little bit more. So then what I would say is, let's talk a little bit about people that might not necessarily be as honest with you when they come in about what they've had done or what they're doing. I know, like recently you were telling someone that they had filler done somewhere and it looked like it wasn't done right or whatever. Like, I mean, I'm sure you see people that come from other places.
Yeah, all the time.
Maybe not telling you. So tell people kind of what can happen, like if they don't tell you everything that's going on or what they've had done or
I think that, but to rewind a little, that most likely a good injector and provider will know what you've had done. So you can't go, and you're only doing disservice to you by lying to your provider. And it's okay if you're feeling a little insecure, maybe you made the wrong choice or you spent a lot of money for something that didn't work and you don't want to admit that. But having that good rapport with your provider is the best way, because if I don't know what you're doing or what the underlying cause of, let's say, filler migration is for, like what is happening to your face, then I can't really help you. So I don't know why people really lie or not lie, but they're not forthcoming with what they have gotten done. I have a perfect example. Someone came to me and I had done PDO threads on them. It's a whole different ballgame. Basically, there's sutures that you place under your skin and you literally pull back that tissue. It's like they call it a mini facelift without it being invasive, where you actually have to go into the office and get surgically a facelift. So you're lifting the face. But as I was doing it, and I was trying to put the cannula into the tissue, I was having some resistance, and there's scar tissue when that happens, right? There's a lot of stuff. So whether it's you've done something called radius, something like Sculptra, or something that has scar tissue built up, and she swears she's never had anything done. Her face was very overly done, like filler wise. So when I'm looking at her and she's got cheekbones up to here and her lips are very, very big, girlfriend, you're not a virgin face. Like, I know what you've done in your face, but you just have to be forthcoming and tell me what you have done, so that when I am trying to do the PDO threads, I understand what plane in the tissue of plane I'm in, trying to stick that thing in your face. So yeah, so just be very honest with your provider as to like what you've gotten done, and then just be honest about what maybe has gone wrong and what you didn't like. But I will tell you, some people will come in and tell me, I didn't have this line here, and they injected me all the way over here, like, and they're pointing at the different places of their face. And you're like, so your Botox created a mole all of a sudden? Like that mole was not there, but then the Botox that you did get done, that's why pictures are so important. So when someone asks you in the office, let me take a picture of your face, it's because we want proof of how you walked in and how you're gonna walk out. Because when you've had that line across your face or your forehead, I didn't just make that up. That's been there from 20 years ago, since you were frowning. So don't say no to the photos, guys.
Okay, so let's ask a couple questions that I think people are definitely going to have, because obviously I haven't done any of these. I am definitely one of those virgin faces that you talk about that has done nothing. So of course, I think anytime you speak, it's always, I have the questions. And the great thing is that I'm not afraid to ask, because we have this open, honest conversation. So I think there's a lot of people that are going, yeah, I'm thinking the same things, Corry. I'm so glad you finally asked.
Yeah,
so
ask away.
I guess kind of the thing too is that I would think is that I work with a lot of people that want everything to be natural. I mean, they are the ones that are reaching out to me. They want the organic foods. They want the non-toxic skincare. You know, they've done all this stuff to detox their body. They're like, I'm not putting in hormones in my system. I don't want to take any of the HRT. So of course they're saying, I don't want anything to do with this, but I hate these lines, or I hate this, or whatever. So what do you say to those people? Because they hear the word. I mean, we have just detoxified their whole body.
Yeah.
And they're hearing, a neurotoxin that's going to like freeze your face. And so they're like, I don't want to do that because that's not natural.
Well, then listen, if that's not natural for you, then it's just not your jam. If you're so, and I hate using this word because I don't want to, if you're so hippie about it, where you're like, yeah, I want all natural, then aesthetics is not your jam. Then you're going to have to accept the fine lines and wrinkles. I'm sorry. But let's say if you get acrylic nails or you get the gel on your nails, that's not natural. If you get false eyelashes, that's not natural. The mascara that you put on your face, it's not natural. So there are certain things that you have to just say, okay, I don't want to look like I'm 85 years old when I'm hitting 55, right? And it's okay not to want to get old. It's okay to want to feel a little bit more rejuvenated. You want to feel like you just slept a shit ton and you just got back from vacation. It's totally fine to feel that way and want to look that way. And then when you look at yourself in the mirror, You don't want to be like, fuck, what just happened to me? Where did I let it all go? Because a lot of women take care of husbands, a household, businesses, their kids. They're the last ones on the list. So here you are, 25 pounds heavier. Your lines and wrinkles have gotten the best of you. So now you look at yourself and you're like, well, shit, I don't even recognize myself anymore. And that's okay to feel that way. And it's never too late to start the aesthetics journey. Now, how much you do is completely up to you. It's up to your wallet, how much money you want to allocate to aesthetics. I had someone from the luncheon say, hey, you know what? I want to dedicate this much X amount per year only for myself. And good for you for doing that, because it's finally time for you to put yourself first. I love it. It's like you saying, I want to go see Corry because I'm tired of the 25 fucking pounds that I've gained, and no matter Mediterranean diet, the what's the other one where they eat high fat stuff?
Keto.
The keto diet. Clearly, it's not working for you, and it's okay to reach out to get some help. So if you're reaching out to someone who wants to get, or you want to do that for yourself, it's totally fine. And I always get asked, when is a good time to start? When you see the influencers online, they're like 25 years old doing Botox. To us, it's like, you have nothing on your face. Why are you trying to inject yourself with anything? But I think if you really dig deeper, it's because it's more preventative. They're not trying to erase the time by the time they're 40. They're trying to slow down the time in their 20s. So I think that's an okay way to do it. But I do think that fillers can age you. We have, let's just put the Kardashians out there. Kylie Jenner, right? I think she's actually really pretty when she tones it down. But there was a photo I saw of her, and not just her, there's so many celebrities out there. They've done so much on their faces. Me, as a 44-year-old, I look like 20 compared to them because they just, it's overly done. It's not natural.
Yeah.
And when I say natural, I mean undetectable fillers. Because ain't nothing natural about this, honey. Like, you're doing your tox, your fillers, whatever you're doing, there's nothing natural about it. You're putting another substance into your body to like help it, but it's undetectable fillers. That's what you need to celebrate, right? Not the overly done faces. So yes, I think that Botox can totally age you if it's done too much. Here's another thing I will say, ladies, if your bottom half of your face looks like 50 and the top half looks like you're 18, you got to balance it out, right? So if you're clear, meaning no lines and wrinkles in between your eyebrows, your forehead is nice and smooth, like glossy, your eyes are nicely lifted, and then you've got a ton of wrinkles, like the parentheses lines that people get around their cheeks, you've got jowling, no bone structure in the jawline, it's just you're two different people. It's like that horse with what's that guy? It's a horse with a human.
Yes, I know exactly
human
what you're
horse.
talking about. Isn't it like a centaurus?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So you look like that. And we're not trying to look like that. We're trying to do everything cohesively. It has to be cohesive, natural looking, and tastefully done. I would say that's my...
I know now, since doing this podcast with you, every person I see, I wonder if she does Botox. I wonder if she does Botox.
I will bet my life on it that person has done it for sure. Because if you're looking at someone, they're like, damn, she kind of looks, I don't know what she's doing. She looks good. And what's the thing with lying? Why do people lie about what they've gotten done?
Oh, don't touch that one yet. We're going to go into that one
I don't
on the next
understand,
episode.
but we will we will do this on the next one. So to be continued on that topic.
I think we covered when to start Botox. Does Botox age you? So let's say, okay, so I can say, for a woman, and we've talked about this before, if you have a butt, it stays forever. And that's not really the case. Like, you have to keep working on your butt, and you have to keep working on it because it'll eventually go away. So what happens with women? Is there a point where women decide to just slowly go away? Or are you seeing women now doing this into their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? Or is there a point where you're finding where most women, or do you know this, where they're like, okay, I've had a good run and now I'm 80 and now I'm going to stop?
I actually think the opposite. I think that as people are aging, like in their 60s and 70s, they want to start doing things because of the fact that we always have put everyone else first. And so now the later year, right? The latter year, you're saying, okay, It's finally my turn to do something about it. I'm done with my divorce. My kids are off to college. I'm financially stable now. It's my turn to do something. And then, well, fuck, you're 50 years old now, 60 years old now, and that's totally fine to do it. However, when you've hit 80, you cannot expect to have a 40-year-old face unless you're going under the knife. There's only so much that your neuromodulators like Botox are going to do. There's only so much that even Sculptra is going to do, unless you've already been doing it for many, many years, or fillers are going to do. That's when the unnatural thing, you just have to come into terms with, okay, my double hooded eyes, I need an upper bleph surgery, or I need probably a mini facelift or something like that. So you just have to have that honest conversation with yourself and with your provider to say, okay, you guys don't get suckered into the next fad and like what's going to happen. Oh, I should jump on this because it's like the coolest thing. Keep it simple, keep it effective, and keep it worth your money. Because if you're trying to jump on any bandwagon of like, oh, I heard this on social media. Oh, this was cool on going back to our previous episodes of like the crazy brushes that we've bought on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
So you just have that good relationship with your provider. Just go in for a consult. And it might not even be a thing for you. You're like, you know what, fuck this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do any of it. And that's okay. But you have the right to give yourself that right to go and just see, okay, what am I going to do? How can I slow this down?
So I think we're going to leave that right there. And of course, I'm just going to remind everybody that especially on YouTube, or even when we post anything on social, if you have questions, go over to YouTube and look in the comments. We put all of our contact information there. So if you want to reach out to Nar, if you want to reach out to her on social, you definitely can, because she will answer you very honestly.
And I try to answer everyone. Like the most recent, I had a post that went viral, so I had to make a 3-part series. And girlfriend, let me tell you, people are wild with their questions. And I got personal DMs asking me, and I literally try to hit back with negative or positive feedback. I do it. I mean, I'm getting run over, honey, by social media comments, and that's fine with me. I don't care. I know who I am. But I comment back to those, and addressing those negative comments, I address those with the positive comments. I mean, I try to get back to everyone, but so just give me a few days to do that.
So there we go. We're going to wrap this one up, and you'll want to keep listening to the next one too, because we're going to go diving more into some of these topics.